Welcome, everybody. I joined a little bit early to make sure that all the tech would work, and I was just saying that this has been something that's been a long time in the making. This has been something that I have wanted to create for quite some time. This book is something that's become something much bigger for me, and it's become something that's much a project that's been much bigger for what I want to accomplish. And you're going to get a look at some of the things that went into creating the Career Secret today. You're going to get a look into what I'm doing, a little bit more about me, of course, and you're just going to learn some behind the scenes things about the book and what I'm doing right now that will really shed some light on some different things that are going on. So I really, really appreciate you joining. And as you join, I'll continue to talk and continue to share. Thank you so much to the folks who are here live. Thank you to those who will be watching this later on a replay. And I just really appreciate you giving me the time to do this. As I take a drink of water, sorry about that. So I'm gonna be silent for just a second and get going. Again, thank you everybody for joining. I really appreciate you. I see we've got some people in the waiting room. So awesome. Let's see. So we're waiting now, and then I think we're going to wait until 4 o'clock to go live. So give it just another minute and we'll be going live. So thanks everybody. I really, really appreciate you, all of y'all that are joining and all y'all that are in the waiting area. This is just a super exciting day for me, not only because it's Star Wars Day and what that means to me, but just overall what it means to my journey. So thank you for joining. And we're almost at 4 o'clock. So I'm going to be starting the presentation in just a second here. So really, really appreciate you being here, and really appreciate all all of you who went to the trouble to join. And thank you so much. This is going to be an exciting time. So really, really appreciate you. So I see it's 4 o'clock now, and hopefully we'll have some folks joining in the waiting area. So I'm about to get going. So we'll wait a couple more minutes before the stream to start. So let's see what's going on. Let's see. Hey, I see one person is there. Thank you. So it looks like it's working. Let me go back on camera just a second and start it over. Thank you, Hunter, for that comment. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and hopefully the rest of y'all can see. So I'm not able to see all of y'all that are in the guest room or the waiting area. So again, I just want to thank you for being here, and thank you for joining. This has been a project that's been on my heart for quite some time. And it's important to me this day, not just because it's Star Wars Day, but because it's the start of a movement, and it's the start of something that's much bigger to me that I see more of y'all are joining. So thank you. So this is the start of something that's much bigger to me. And I'm going to share a little behind the scenes about why I created this book, why this is just so much more important to me, why this is something that, let me X you out there, Joe. Sorry. So I'm going to share, see that fist bump. So yeah, so I'm going to share a lot about why I wrote this book, why this is such an important day to me, and what this could mean for you. So to give you a little bit of a background, today is a big day. I've always been a huge Star Wars fan, and I just had the opportunity to delay the full launch of this book a few days to coincide with May the 4th, Star Wars Day, which has always had a big meaning to me. So obviously I chose to, and you can see I'm wearing my Han Solo shirt now. But this is a book that was part of something that's so much bigger than me. And you're going to learn a little bit about me as I go. We'll likely be here for maybe 20 to 25 minutes max. And I see more folks are starting to join. So thank you. If you're watching this live, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to do that. If you watch this on the replay, you'll get the same information. So what I'm going to do is share a little about the background of why I wrote this book and what's in the book, and you'll be able to see more. And as I get into the presentation, there's only like 10 slides. I'll go off the video and I'll come back on at the end. So I'll be here at the end. But essentially, for all of my career, I've been a worrier, and I've worried about being laid off. I've worried about making the wrong move. I've been passed over for promotion a lot of times. I've just, always worried about my career. And over the last several years, it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And there were two times when I went through a bout where I was laid off twice. And in between those two times, by the way, if you don't know me, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And that was a time when I really reflected and I leaned on my relationship with Christ. I prayed about it. I journaled about it. I really just did a lot of soul searching. And between the first layoff, the Parkinson's, and the second layoff, I really just discovered that I was being called to something more, something bigger. And I kind of resisted that for a while, and I'm leaning into that more fully now. But Romans 8:28 says, for we know that God causes all things to work together for the good, for those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And that means all things. So that means all of these bitter things that I went through, all of the things like a toxic work environment, just anxiety and stress and just all the other stuff, Parkinson's disease, it's all part of my story. And this is all something that God can use for his purposes. So the book is born out of a lot of pain and a lot of suffering and a lot of reflection, but it's something that I want to share with you and share with the world. And I'm going to kind of go off camera now, get into the book and share my screen with you. So hopefully you can see the full size screen, and we're going to learn some things as we go. So I'm going to make this full screen now, and you should be able to see the title slide that says The Career Secret, the hidden strategy for career growth, promotion, and work that finally feels like you. Can somebody give me a thumbs up if you can see that on the screen? And if it looks big, perfect. I got a thumbs up. So what we're going to do is go through just the process that I went through to write this book, and then what comes next. And so as of this morning, the book is now live on Amazon. You can get it in the Kindle, hardcover, or paperback format. And I'm working on my website the ability for you to get an autographed copy, which I'll personally autograph, personalize a note, pray for you, send that to you. So look for that coming within the next couple of days. But the book is officially live now on Amazon, when I woke up this morning, the first thing I did was I did my devotional and I prayed. And the second thing is I looked at this Amazon link, and I was just thrilled to see that it was live and thrilled to see it was out there and ready for the world to see. So this book exists, kind of like I told you. I was laid off twice. I was constantly in a state of worry, and I just felt stuck. And it's made for somebody that was like me or is like me, that just questions so much that's going on about your career, your life, what you're doing, even when you're doing everything right, in quotation marks. And when you're doing all those things that you feel are done right, and you still feel that tug at your heart, you know that something's off, and you know that something's off center. And this is where the book comes in, and it helps you to kind of diagnose what's going on with you and why you're feeling that way. So this is why the book exists, and it's written mainly for people who just feel stuck, overlooked, uncertain, not sure what's going on. And the reason for that is there's something that's off in your life, and it's usually your career, because we're not really taught how to do career growth. Being great at your job, of course, it's not good enough. You can follow all the rules that are out there for your career and still get passed over. You can still get left out. You can still get ignored or left on the fringe. And it's a feeling that I've had many, many times. And I know some of you have too. And just the cost of staying stuck, it's too high. It takes its toll on your body, your emotions, your mind, your psyche overall. And this is something that you're never taught in school until it's too late. You never learn it. You don't learn how to deal with your career in college. You don't learn how to deal with a toxic boss. You don't learn how to deal with layoffs in college. You learn different things about how to do your job. And then when it's too late, you go through these things and you have to just suffer through. So that's a huge reason that I wrote this book. And you're basically feeling these things. And if you are, you're not alone. If you felt these feelings, if you felt burned out, disillusioned, left over, loyal but overlooked, called to more, but just unsure what's next, you're not alone. Those are things that people feel, because I've shared this book with a lot of early readers who reviewed it. And so many people have said, this book hit me right in the heart because of the exact feelings that I have. And I'm just afraid to have shared anything about it. So just know that you're not alone if you're feeling those things. And I'll share a little bit about the book. and I'll share the first couple of the first couple of pages from chapter one. But one thing that all good stories have is a great beginning. And you might recognize some of these beginning line or opening lines from some really popular books. The first one, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, Charles Dickens, and that's A Tale of Two Cities. The second one may or may not be as familiar. It's in my younger and more vulnerable years. My father gave me some advice that I've been turning over in my mind ever since, and that's from F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. And then one that I just loved that really hit me when I read the book was It's Not About You. That was from Rick Warren's The Purpose Driven Life. And then, of course, going to my favorite, Star Wars, that opened up with the title crawl that said a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And it's been something that's just been etched in my mind, and I can hear the fanfare as I'm thinking about that right now. But now there's a new contender in that. And you can see the first couple of pages of chapter one and chapter two. In chapter one, it's got an abrupt start. This is when I had a meeting with my boss, and my boss said, we need to talk about your exit plan. This was on a one-on-one that I did with my boss, and it was something that was just, it was a shock to me, because if you read down and obviously I'd love for you to get the book, but this is a time that I came to my boss and I basically laid out that I was feeling very frustrated. I needed some help. I needed support, and I was just not in a good place. And this is what I was met with. So I don't know if it's going to have the impact of a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, or it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. But it jars you into seeing those conversations that can be had and that are had every day. And it blindsided me. But as I went along, I started to see that those things weren't happening to me, they were happening for me. And this helped me to come up with a framework, a reason that I kept feeling stuck. And the framework that I built is called RISE. It stands for RISE. R is recognize the real problem. I is identify what you really want. S is step into the stretch. And E is elevate your personal brand. And I go into all of this in the book. The foundation of this pyramid at the bottom is your mindset. And one of the things that I had to change was going from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. And I explain all about the differences and why it's so critical, because that will tell you how you respond to challenges in your life. Having a fixed mindset basically says there's no solution to it. Having a growth mindset basically says we'll figure it out. So having a growth mindset is critical to succeeding in your career and in your life. And then the foundation of my RISE format is R, recognize the real problem. Sometimes the problem is you. And for me, the problem was me a lot of the times. Then the way that I looked at things and the way that I did things. And once I realized that was a huge aha moment. But the second part is, once you realize the real problem or recognize the real problem, you got to identify what you really want. Are you chasing a title or a position just because it's the next step on the ladder? Or are you doing things that are, quote unquote, the right thing for you to do? And that's where you've got to identify what you really, really want. And it's important for you to really do some soul searching in this phase, to look at not what your parents want for you or your teachers or your coaches or your friends, but what do you really want? What really were you created to do? Because we were all created for a purpose that's unique to us. And when you identify what you really want, yes, you can blend that into your career, into your life. And then S, step into the stretch. And this is when I introduced the concept of the valley of despair. When you go into the stretch, and that's doing something to get outside of your comfort zone, there's always going to be a time when you get to a point where it's unfamiliar and it's new, and that's going to be hard for you. And that's going to be a time when most people give up. And you can't do that then. When you step into the stretch, you've got to understand that pushback, that resistance that you feel, that's life. That's you expanding who you are. And your brain is trying to pull you back by getting you back into what's safe. That's your brain trying to protect you. Your brain doesn't know what you're going to be able to do when you grow. So you've got to step into the stretch. And then the last phase of the RISE framework is E, elevate your personal brand. And the news flash that I have for you is, if you're not intentionally cultivating and creating your personal brand, somebody's doing it for you. And that's something that's not just your LinkedIn presence. It's not just your Facebook, but it's the things that people say about you behind closed doors. There are certain words that people use about you. For me, I'm intentional about using the word encouraging. So I want people to know that I'm an encouraging person. And you can repeat those things often and let people know that's who you are. And building your brand and elevating your personal brand is something that's going to follow you throughout your whole career. And it's going to be something to help you go from one phase to the next without having to have any kind of interruptions. So that's the last phase of the RISE framework. And to get into some things about what you'll unlock inside the book, there are a lot of practical tools. There's coaching stories and case studies that are in it. And then there's step-by-step guides to help you make aligned career and life decisions. And each chapter, each section has some reflection items, things for you to think about as you go through each chapter and do before you move on. And then some key takeaway points from the chapter. So each chapter has some things at the end that'll help you to reflect on what the chapter meant, because it's not just a book to just read and then put down. It's a book to really read, apply, and think about as you go. And you'll get a lot of bonus tools. And this is something that I'm super excited about, because when you buy any version of the book, Kindle, paperback, hardback, there's a website that you go to that's in the book, and there's a QR code in the book where you have access to a ton of different resources. And these aren't all of them, but I just listed the top few. The Career Compass, this is a reflection prompt to let you think about what is it that you truly want and where do you really want to be. There's a LinkedIn branding guide for professionals that gives you the basics about LinkedIn and lets you know how to set up your LinkedIn profile, because that's super important. There's a career secret reflection journal that will help you to ask some questions to just think about where you truly want to be and where you are right now. There's a career secret action plan that gives you a timeline for taking action, 30, 60, 90 days, to help you know where you want to be and know how to get there. So those are the bonus tools you get. And then the big thing is the career secret revealed in the book? Is this something that I just named it the career secret and just thought it was a cute name? And there is, just as there's a gripping opening, just as that opening kind of hits you between the eyes, I think you'll find the ending to be just as powerful. And I don't want to give it away, because I want to let you read it and see if it has that reaction that it has had on some of my early readers and what I intended it to be. So the secret is going to be something that's really going to open your eyes and change your perspective. And I think it's something that's pretty simple, but it's pretty difficult to know. So the career secret is absolutely revealed in the book, and it's revealed at the end. So know that as you go through the book, you'll pick it up, and it's a pretty short read if you go through the book. So you'll be able to see the career secret. And then, as I said when I started the presentation, going through this whole process has helped me to define who I am and what I want and how I want to serve people. And I've developed a lot of things to help that if you want to go deeper than just the book, I have a coaching program called Purpose After the Pause. This is faith-informed, clarity-driven, and action-oriented. And my worldview, many of you know, as I'm a Christian, you do not have to be a Christian to go through this coaching with me, but I always try to infuse that as I can. You'll get bonus guidance and access to a custom chat GPT that I built. So this is something that's exclusive to folks who do the coaching with me. And if you're interested in that, there's a QR code at the bottom, or you can go to my Calendly link, calendlylink.com/encouragingleader. And the next steps that I'll ask of you is to grab the book on Amazon. There's Kindle paperback or hardcover now available. I'll put the Amazon link there. You can just search for The Career Secret, Michael Jones. I also put a QR code on the bottom left to the Amazon link, and that would really, really help me out. So step one, you can get the book. Number two, you can encourage somebody that needs to check it out. So share me. If this is something that a message that somebody you know needs to hear, share it with that person. Share it with him or her so they can benefit from it. And please leave me a positive review on Amazon if you can. That will absolutely help me to continue to grow the impact of the book and serve others. The other thing you can do, and this is free, is to join my weekly newsletter. And this is the link is encouragingleader.kit.com. And on the bottom right, there's a QR code that you can scan to be able to do that. So that's encouragingleader.kit.com, or you can go to the QR code. And in that newsletter, I share every Sunday just some a story that will relate to you and your career and your life growth. It ends with a scripture and a question of the week and some information to help you grow. You can read it in just a couple of minutes. And really just want to say that I appreciate you being here. If you're still here, that means your story isn't over. That's something that I've kind of learned as I've gone through this journey. And it's something that's just been put on my heart to share this. And I want you to know that the career secret is the first of many things that will be changing in what I do with my life and how I serve others, because I believe that I was created for a purpose, as were you. And I was stuck at one time, and now I feel that clarity. Now I feel that pull to do what I was called to do, and I want to share that with you. So I'm completely changing, and you can see the bottom there, there's two different links that you can go to for websites that I've built. Um, One is called purposeframe.com. And that's what I've chosen to name the business and everything I'm doing for the movement to serve you. And then the careersecret.net is a link just for the book alone. So it's just been a joy for me to do this. This has been a time in my life that's been painful for me to go through, but it's given me a message that I can share, and only I can share. As I said, this isn't just a book launch, it's a movement. And the pause that I was in, it was never the end. It was just an invitation for me to do more and be that person that I was intended to be. So I'm going to go stop sharing the presentation and go back on live now, and just tell you that I just really have appreciated those of you who have been here and the time that you spent with me. I know you could choose to do other things on a Sunday afternoon, especially this time of night, and there's not a lot of big sports events going on, but you chose to spend that time with me, and I really appreciate those of you who came here live. Those of you who watched it on the replay, thank you for taking the time to be here. And I'm humbled by the support that I've been given, and I'm just honored to be the messenger for this message about how to really align what you want to do, your values, your purpose with your career, and serve others, and just be the person that you were intended to be. So really, really appreciate you taking the time to be here. I'll leave, and I'll drop off in just a couple of minutes, but I'm going to just hush for just a minute and see if anybody has any questions or comments as I go. And uh, otherwise, we will thank you for going. I see Robert is here. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Hunter, for that. And thank you, Joe, for being here. Thank you, Christine, obviously, of course. But this has just been the start of a journey that I'm excited to go on. I see my mom is here. Thank you, Catherine, for joining. And this is just something that I feel is on my heart to share with the world. And I feel like I'm the only one that can share it. And I feel like I'm the only one who can share it with the heart that I have. So thank you so much for being here, and have a super fantastic Star Wars day, and may the force be with you. Bye, everybody. See you, Joe.